Hey guys, RCT3 Crashes 100 here, and we're back with another unboxing, this time with something which has literally just arrived, so you can actually go through it. We're going to be focusing today on vintage banknotes, but also coins. We do have some coins, in particular pre-decimal United Kingdom coins. So before we start with the pre-decimal stuff, we're going to go into the banknotes first, because we actually have quite a few here. We have a set of 5. I ordered these from a guy on YouTube called English Coin Company. I will leave the link to their shop in the description, as I've done with the past few videos with unboxings in them. So without further ado, let's begin. As you can see here, they've all come in this packet. And so our first note here is a 500 Russian ruble note. We have the Kremlin and the Russian flag here. And we have presumably a street in Moscow. I'm not too familiar with Russian landmarks, so I'll have to look that up elsewhere, but I can assume it is definitely quite an important landmark because you can see it's got the Russian tricolour on the top. This is a 1993 series note. I do actually have some notes from the later series, the 1998 series, so I can just do a quick comparison in size here. Quite a bit smaller. So there we go. It's quite a cool find. So then here we have 100 Greek drachmas. So this is the currency they used before they switched to the euro. And as you can see here, ekaton, which is Greek for 100. This profile shot here is of a statue of Athena, which is made of bronze, and it's from, I believe, the 4th century BC. Again, I'll have to go into that here. Quite cool reverse, of course. Again, we have 100 here. And there we go. This is definitely the largest note in the actual packet because it was protruding out that wallet there. So we go from a currency which no longer exists or is no longer in use to currency from a country which no longer exists. Here we have 100 Yugoslavian dinars. This statue here is the monument to peace outside the United Nations building in New York. We actually do have a security strip on this one, which is quite interesting. This is a Series 1966 note, but seeing as how it has a security strip, it's presumably quite a bit further down the line in terms of when this was printed. Can only wonder, really. So we have the Socialist Republic of Yugoslavia, or the Socialist Federal Republic of Yugoslavia in 3 languages. This one's actually in quite nice condition, so I assume it's presumably from quite further along in the country's history. So then we have a 2 yuan note from China. I can only assume. Not sure which region from China this is from. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that because I know I'm going to butcher it. But there you go. 2 yuan from 1980, so that one actually has a description of when this was made. We have a set of different languages here, which is quite interesting. And then to round off the banknotes, we have this 200 zloty note from Poland. And we have, I know I'm going to butcher it here, Jaroslaw Dabrowski on the obverse. And on the reverse here we have the Communard's Wall. And I believe this phrase, according to Wikipedia at least, translates to something like our freedom and yours. Of course, if anyone in the comments can provide better translations, please do. So, there we go. That's the last of the banknotes. Came with 5. I would quite like to order more, seeing as how there's quite a bit of variety here. And so now we're coming into the main body of what we have here. We have a set of bags of coins, all of which are pre-decimal. So these will have all come from before 1970, when decimal day happened, and these were switched over for the current coins which we have now. So let's get started. In this bag here we have florins. This bag here we have Victorian pennies, which I'm actually quite excited to see what's going to be in here. I'm going to turn on my lights because I can tell that these are going to be a bit more corroded, so we might have to take a closer look at those. And then in this bag here we just have a general mixed set, which is quite cool. So I'm going to quickly pause the camera here, we're going to put on the lights, and we're going to continue then. And so we are back. We actually have our white gloves on for the first time today, because as I can see on closer inspection, some of these coins, especially in the first packet, seem to be in Really nice condition, actually. So, a general point of information to go with is, before decimalisation, the pound was 240 pence. Decimalisation reduced this to factors of 10, bringing it down to 100, and that's where we have been since the 1970s. So we're going to get started on this first bag here. Hopefully I can get this open with my big hands, which I don't think I am. So, you know what? This time, just for this one, we're going to use a set of scissors. Let's get started. There we go. I'm just going to gently open these out here. There we go. I'm going to put that down over there. I'm just going to move these out of the way just so we can clean this up. So, our first coin here, with a wren on it, a European wren, is a farthing. It's quite heavily toned, but this is a 1941 farthing, meaning, of course, this is from the reign of George VI, Queen Elizabeth II's father. So, as you can see, it's very much similar to other coins from this era. We do have Emperor of India on the end. There we go. That's quite cool. We have another farthing. This one is from 1946. So the previous one was in the middle of the war. Now we have one from the year after the war ended. The design hadn't changed. Again, there's the obverse. So we have two farthings. This one here is quite a bit smaller, so I assume this is going to be a sixpence, and yes, it is. We have the flags of the four nations on this one. So we have the Irish clover, we have the Welsh leek, the Scottish thistle, and the English rose. This is from 1962. And here we have Queen Elizabeth II. This portrait is by Mary Gillick, the first engraver for coins during Elizabeth II's reign, and so this is the first portrait. Put that over there. Now we have something a bit larger. This is a florin, so 2 shillings, from 1951. And again, we have George VI on the obverse. And now, after the florin, we have 1 shilling, again with Elizabeth II. I forget these aren't like American coins, they are the same way around on each side. This is a 1955, so only 3 years after Elizabeth II became Queen. We have another shilling. This one's actually in quite really nice condition, actually. This is a 1965 shilling. Again, there we go. Very nice. This one I'm actually going to probably put to one side. This would be a good coin to maybe encapsulate or something. That's really nice. Put you over there. Here we have a half crown, which I forget how many shillings that was. I'm actually going to just quickly take a look at that one moment. So a crown is 2 shillings and 6 pence, or roughly 1/8 of the old pound. So you can sort of see how the unusual fractions in this are a bit of a hallmark of decimalisation. The interesting thing about the florin, let's bring that in here, is the florin was sort of an attempt at decimalising the pound, because this was worth exactly 1/10 of a pound, whereas this, of course, was worth a bit differently. So there you go. Put that over there. These are all firsts for me. This is my first half crown in my collection. I do have a few shillings that I found at Coinstar, but these are obviously the first that I've ordered. So you might remember that earlier on the channel I reviewed silver 3pences. This here is a brass 3pence, a proper threepenny bit. If the shape of this coin seems familiar to you, that's because they revived it for use on the new £1 coins from 2016 onwards. This is a 1938 3pence coin, and as you can see, we have George VI on the obverse again. And so here, in really nice condition actually, is a 1966 1 penny coin, and we have Britannia on the reverse, and again Queen Elizabeth on the obverse. And you can sort of see the size of the 1 penny coins from the past. These were about the same size as our 2pence coins today. So that sort of gives you an idea of where the penny farthing came from when you look at sort of the size difference. Let's pull one out. So when you put them together, you can sort of see the idea of how the wheel would have looked. These would have been even larger in the Victorian period, or slightly larger, I believe, prior to the Victorian period, because you had the cartwheel penny. So there we go, we are almost done. And here we're leading to one of my favourite pre-decimal coins, mostly because I have quite a few of these somewhere in the loft. This is a halfpenny. So obviously, as the name suggests, it's half a penny. And again, we have Queen Elizabeth II on the reverse, or the obverse, sorry. Very nice. I think this is the Golden Hind on the obverse. Well, sorry, the reverse. I keep getting mixed up. So there we go. Very nice. Again, that's in lovely condition. It's only slightly toned. Obviously hasn't really been stored in a situation to oxidise all that much. So I'll put you over there. Very nice. And so I might as well hold this here because this might as well be the thumbnail. There's a good chance it could be the thumbnail. There we go. It's about right. Ooh, shaking hand. Lovely. There we go. There we go. That's better. Okay. So we're just going to quickly cut the camera here. I'm going to remove these gloves because we are now going into circulated florins and circulated pennies from the Victorian period. I'm looking forward to this part. Let's continue. So I've moved the camera over here now because we are now going to focus on the circulated florins. So let's get started. Again, these are all presumably going to have the same design because these aren't silver florins. So our first coin here is a 1967. Very nice. There are no mint marks on these, so we're literally just doing dates. Then we have a 1956. It'd be interesting if we actually get all of these are Victorian, are Elizabeth, which I think it looks like they're going to be. 1966 here. There we go. So these are just standard Kukra nickel, while of course America was still using 40% silver in the half dollars. We had already made the switch by the 1920s for the most part. There we go, so that is a 1957. We have a 1963. Then we have a 1961. And a 1950 here. So there we go, there's our first George VI florin in this set. And we have another one. 1947. We have another one. 1951. And then to cap it off, we have another Elizabeth II. 1953. Cool. So there we go. That is the florins searched. We are now going to move on to the last in this set, which we are going to be doing with the Victorian pennies. I'm genuinely quite interested to see what we get here. There are two varieties of penny which were listed in the listing that you might get. Old head or veiled head and bun head pennies. So let's take a look. These are going to be extremely circulated. And I can already tell just pulling these out. Let's get going. So first off the top we have this extremely circulated example. You can make out all of the details on the field still. So we have Victoria in the grace of God, a defender of like the faith, Britain. There we go. We have straight off the bat in 1889. Cool. We have another bunhead. 1890, so these are quite late into the reign. 1884. There we go. Keep turning these. Maybe I'm too used to like American coins here. We have another 1899 with a smaller sort of year on it. There we go. Oh, here's our first old head design. This one's actually a bit more intact, as you can see here. Again, Empress of India. There we go. Then we have an 1889 again, with the older bunhead portrait. Another one. 1882, so this is a bit older than all the others we've had so far. 1900, so the penultimate year of Victoria's reign. And again, there's our second old head portrait, which is actually in quite nicer condition when you look at it. You've still got details on the face, which is quite cool. Here is another one from earlier on, 1885. I can just about make out. That one's especially worn. And then at the end we have an 1891, the oldest so far. Down to our last one here, an 1897, and so it is the veiled or old head portrait. Very nice indeed. I'm quite pleased with this. I'm definitely thinking of ordering more so I can get better variety, especially with those banknotes as well. So I'm just going to quickly cut the camera and we're going to put it all together for the final shot. So with that being said, that is all for now. This has been a very quick look at some pre-decimal currency plus a set of extra old banknotes. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. I'm Master 23 Crashes 100, over and out.